Hi, welcome to Trauma Talks with Russ Tellup. I am Russ Tellup. This week, I'm going to do something a little different and talk about what trauma is, how it affects us, and how we can start to work on those things and work with that trauma to live a better life. I've also got a question for you guys. I've tried out a couple different formats for this podcast to include interviewing professionals, which I've been doing for the last few weeks, to get their insights and pass their insights on to you guys, and to give you guys access to professionals in the field that can help if you're looking for that help. Um, Previous to that, I had done more like this week's episode where I do some education and talk to you guys about trauma, and how you can start to work on this stuff on your own, as well as just offering some hope, that what you're feeling is real, and then how to heal from that. So I'd love to hear your feedback. Do you enjoy the interviews? Do you enjoy when I'm just talking to you guys directly? Which format resonates more with you guys? I'd love to get your feedback so I know how to move forward with the podcast and continue to do these things. So thanks so much for tuning in. This episode is called When the Past Holds You Back, and we're going to learn how to understand and let go of trauma. So thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the show, and we'll talk to you guys afterwards. Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Trauma Talks with Russ Tellup. I'm Russ Tellup. I'm your host, and I am a trauma-informed somatic coach and brain spotting practitioner based in Colorado Springs. If you're tuning in, you're probably someone who's curious about trauma, how it affects us, and more importantly, how we can move forward and heal. Today's episode is called When the Past Holds You Back, and we will learn how to understand and let go of trauma. We'll chat about how trauma shapes our lives, the habits it creates, and how to break free from its hold. Let's start with this. Trauma isn't what happened to you. It's about how your body holds on to it. A lot of us carry around invisible scars that show up in our everyday lives. Maybe you're overly cautious in relationships, or you find it hard to relax, always feeling on edge. These reactions aren't random. They're your body's way of saying, I've been through something and I'm trying to protect you. This is like an alarm system that got stuck in the on position, constantly scanning for danger, even when you're safe. This can show up in so many ways. Maybe you avoid certain situations, or you feel like you need to be perfect and keep people happy. Maybe you're quick to anger or find yourself shutting down completely when things feel overwhelming. All of these things are signs of how the past can reshape your present. Here's the thing. These patterns are not your fault. They are your nervous system's way of trying to help you survive. But while these responses might have been useful in the past, they can become barriers to living fully now. The good news is that while we can't change the past, we can change how it affects us now. Healing doesn't mean erasing the memory of what happened. It means finding a way to live with it in a way that doesn't control you. It means feeling safe again, taking back control, and letting go of the shame or fear that we've been carrying around with us. This process starts with awareness, recognizing the patterns, the triggers, and the way we've been shaped by our experiences. From there, we can begin to gently challenge those patterns and create space for something new. So, as I said before, my name is Russ Tellup. Excuse me. And I've been there. For a long time, I felt like I was stuck, barely present in my own life. I'd only remembered the big, extreme moments from my childhood, but my body, it remembered everything. I felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders, but I couldn't quite figure out why. For years, I ignored the signs. I pushed through, convinced that if I just worked harder, moved faster, or stayed busy enough, I could outrun the discomfort. But eventually, that approach stopped working. I hit a point where I couldn't pretend anymore. I couldn't shake the feeling that something deeper was going on. Things started to shift when I discovered brain spotting and somatic work. These weren't just techniques, they were lifelines. Brain spotting in particular allowed me to access and release the emotions I'd buried so deeply that I didn't even realize that they were there. It wasn't just about remembering what had happened to me. It was about reconnecting with myself and giving my nervous system the chance to feel safe again. Through this process, I realized something profound. I didn't have to carry around the belief that I wasn't enough. That idea, which had been driving so much of my life, wasn't mine to hold on to anymore. Slowly but surely, I started to let go of it. And in its place, I found something had never felt before: hope. Healing wasn't linear for me. There were moments of doubt and frustration, but there were also breakthroughs, moments of clarity and growing sense of peace. Over time, I started to feel more like myself, not the version of me who was always bracing for impact, but the real me underneath all of it. Now, when I look back on that journey, I see it as one of the most important things I've ever done. It's what fuels my passion for helping others. If you're feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or unsure of where to start, I want you to know something. That healing is possible. You don't have to live with this for the rest of your life. It's not a life sentence. You don't have to do it alone. You don't have to have all the answers right now. Just take the first step, whatever that may look like for you. So, what happens in the brain when we experience trauma? Trauma rewires the brain's pathways in ways that prioritize survival over everything else. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, becomes hyperactive, constantly scanning for threats and sounding the alarm even when there's real no danger. It's like being stuck with a smoke detector that goes off for burnt toast as if the house is on fire. At the same time, the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for decision making and rational thought, becomes less active. This is why you can't think your way out of a trauma response. The brain is prioritizing survival instincts, not logic. Meanwhile, the hippocampus, which helps us differentiate between past and present, often struggles, making it feel like the traumatic event is happening right now, even if it's long been over. This is why trauma responses can feel so overwhelming and out of control. They're not about what's happening now, but about how the brain has been shaped by what's happened before. The good news is that the brain is incredibly adaptable. This is also known as neuroplasticity. It means that the right tools and support, we can help the brain unlearn these trauma driven patterns and create new, healthier pathways. If you imagine a snowy hill with deep snow and you go down once or twice with your sled down the same path, you start digging a groove into that snow, and it makes it really difficult to change direction while in that groove. But as you start going down in new areas, you will create new pathways. One of the most effective ways to do this is through modalities like brain spotting. Brain spotting works directly with the brain and body to process and release trauma. Brain spotting uses the connection between where we look and how we feel to access deeply held memories and emotions. By focusing on a specific point in our visual field, we can unlock the brain's natural ability to process trauma. Another crucial element is nervous system regulation. When our nervous system is constantly in fight, flight, or a freeze state, it's hard to feel safe. Practices like grounding exercises, deep breathing, and mindfulness can help calm the nervous system and create a sense of safety in the present moment. Over time, these practices can help retrain the brain to recognize when it's truly safe and let go of those old survival patterns. Healing from trauma isn't about erasing the past. It's about helping your brain and body learn that the danger is over. You can feel safe again. It's a process, but it's absolutely possible. So, what are some steps that you can take today? How can you start working on these things now? Well, first, recognize what you're feeling. It's okay to feel whatever comes up. Write it down, talk it out, or just sit with it and feel it. You have to feel to heal. Find moments of safety. Consider what makes you feel safe and calm. It could be a warm blanket, deep breath, or even a favorite song. For me, it's music. I'm the lead singer of a band, so music is a huge part of my toolbox to deal with trauma. Look into healing modalities. If you're ready, explore options like brain spotting, EMDR, somatic therapy, hypnotherapy. These approaches are designed to help you move forward. Healing isn't a straight line, so be patient with yourself. You're doing the best that you can. So before we finish up, I want to remind you of this. Your trauma is part of your story, but it doesn't have to define you. You have the power to heal and create a life you love, one step at a time. If something from today's episode struck a chord with you, I'd love to hear from you. You can connect with me through my website, brainspottingcs.com. You can go there and download free resources to help you get started or schedule an appointment with me to do some coaching or brain spotting. Thank you for your time. I'm honored that you guys listen to this and take time out of your day to learn. And I want to offer the best help that I possibly can. So thank you for tuning in. Take care of yourself and remember, you are enough, just as you are. Hey, thanks so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciate it. I hope that today's episode shines some light on what the way that you're feeling. And if so, and you'd like to do some one-on-one work with me, you can reach me at brainspottingcs.com. You can also check us out on Google if you just search for Brain Spotting Colorado Springs. We'll pop right up and you'll get some information on how to get in touch with us. Otherwise, if you wanted to reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, you can send me a message. Russell Tellup is my screen name there. So go there and send me a private message, and I get back to you as soon as I possibly can. And then let me know, guys, what you thought of today's episode and how it compares to the more interview type shows that I've been doing recently. Which one you prefer? Do you prefer when I talk directly with you, or do you prefer the insights from some of these coaches and therapists that I've been interviewing recently? I'd love to hear your feedback and how we should move forward. So, have a wonderful new year, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So, thanks again for joining in, and we'll talk to you next week.